Hi and welcome along to AFTV. Now it's time to preview the game Vorskla versus Arsenal in the Europa League. Now first of all I've got to say that you may have already heard the news, but the game has been moved from its original place where it was going to take place in the Ukraine, which was at the Vorskla Stadium, and it has been moved to the Olimpiski, I hope I pronounced that right, Olimpiski Stadium or Olympic Stadium, in Kiev, which of course is the home of Dynamo Kiev. That is where the game is going to be taking place. And the reason why they've moved the game from Portlova is because parts of the country are under martial law. Now, this is pretty scary stuff. I mean, Ukraine for a very long time have literally been at war with Russia. And over recent days, the trouble has escalated. There's been lots of problems between the two countries and parts of the country under martial law. And if you don't know what martial law is, basically that's when the army takes control of a lot of the law in and around the country. They introduce things like curfews, and it's not good. It's not a good look, put it that way. The news has only come, 48 hours before the game. So for fans like myself who'd already planned to travel to Vorskla Stadium, it's sort of, well, you know what, it's a bit of a mixed thing for me because it's messed up my plans, because my plan was to fly into Kiev, and then from Kiev we were going to drive to Vorskla's ground, which was around about a 4 or 5 hour drive. So the good thing is we don't have to do that no more, right? We don't have to do that drive. We're going into Kiev, so we'll be able to just stay in Kiev, watch the game, and then come back without having to drive, as I said, 4 or 5 hours to Vorskla, and then after the game, 4 or 5 hours back to Kiev, wait around for ages to catch a flight to come back to England. Now, it's going to be based in Kiev. So in a way that makes things easier. But then, of course, because of it's all come last minute, we already paid for all of those sort of things. So going to lose all that money. And it won't just be me. It'll be a lot of fans out there who would have made plans to travel by train, cars, who would have booked maybe hotels down in Vorskla. Some fans who may already have made that journey to there, because, you know, when you've got European trips, there'll be people sometimes who get there early and to suss out the town and spend a couple of days. But of course, listen, it's all changed. And when I first heard the news, I was like, oh, you know, I was really angry. You're looking for someone to blame. Why didn't UEFA let people know earlier? But when you really think about it, listen, it's a sensible thing to do if the country's under martial law, or parts of the country are under martial law, is to play it in the capital, in Kiev. That's the safest place to play it. And I suppose they were really unable to give any much more notice than what they have done. The question is, should the game be played at all with a country that's got parts of it under martial law and is effectively at war with another country? Should they be playing a game of football in that country at the moment? And that is the other question. And I'm hoping and praying that, you know, it's going to be safe to go to. But as I said, when a country's under martial law, should you really be going to that country? I mean, listen, these are a lot of questions that you have to be asking. And there's 500 Arsenal fans, I think, due to go to Vorskla. I think it would have been more if it would have been in Kiev, but Vorskla is such a hard place to get to. They reckon about 500 fans. I'm not sure how many of those are fans travelling from England, because you always get a lot of, when you play games in Eastern Europe, you always get a lot of gooners from all around Eastern Europe travelling. But now it's going to be moved to the stadium in Kiev. And the stadium in Kiev, by the way, has a capacity, Dynamo Kiev Stadium is massive, 70,000 that holds. Vorskla Stadium holds 24,000. The country's under martial law, as I said, so hardly any of their fans are going to be able to travel. So what's going to be, how many people are going to be in that stadium in Kiev? It could be a crowd of a couple thousand in a stadium of 70,000. I mean, it is going to be a bit of a farce, the whole game. And as I said, you really start to call into question whether the game should go ahead at all. But I suppose for UEFA, they want to get this done and dusted, get this group done and dusted, and just, you know, make the best of a bad situation. Now, as long as the fans are safe, that is the main thing. And as I said, I'm going out there, and you've got to be slightly worried because, a country under martial law, you've got to be slightly worried that you're going into a bit of a war-torn country. You're going into a war zone, effectively. But listen, we will be making a trip out there unless it's cancelled completely. And we will be doing our normal thing and interviewing fans after the game. Now, let's get into the game. Now, of course, Arsenal are already through in this group. It is the ultimate dead game. I mean, everything about this game just seemed dead. It's the ultimate dead game for Arsenal. Arsenal, as we know, have got a very, very important game at the weekend when we play the North London derby against Spurs. And really and truly, even as the person that's going to be making my journey to go all the way out there to see Arsenal play, I don't want to see Arsenal play any of the players that could feature in that game on Sunday. That game is so important. We're just behind Spurs. Spurs have been playing well. They had that big win over Chelsea. Spurs, of course, got a tough game against Inter Milan. So we want to, and a game where they're going to have to put it all in. So we want to go over there. Sorry, we want to go into that game on Sunday with our players relaxed, ready, and up for that game. No injuries to key players. So hence why I feel we should be just resting players left, right, and centre for this game. I'm going to give you my team that I think we should go into for the game. And remember, some of the players that would normally play in this type of game are injured. So, we do have players missing, and I think this is going to be a chance for some youngsters to come into the team. But I still think we can put out a fairly decent team. So let me run through what I think the team should be going into this game against Vorskla. Petr Cech in goal. Cech, of course, as a number 2 is as good as you're going to get as a number 2 goalkeeper. At right back, I play Jenkinson. He's filled in the Carabao Cup games. He's done all right. A player that, listen, he probably won't be with us in January, but when he's come in, he's done a job. And I think more than capable of playing in this game. Now, the 2 centre-halves. Now, this, of course, is a problem because, we know that Koscielny's only just come back. It was good to see him back the other night. But he's still not ready for a game like this. And then we don't want to be risking centre-halves in this game, for me, that are going to play on Sunday. I would play Pleguezueli. I hope I pronounced that right. He looked very good. He played, of course, against Blackpool in the Carabao Cup. I've also seen him play for the under-23s. Very capable player, and I thought he'd done all right. Be great for his experience. We are going to have to play one of our experienced centre-halves, though, because, of course, there's still injuries in that position, and we've effectively got only 3 fit centre-halves. I would play Mustafi, because for me, if I'm going to prioritise and say which 2 centre-halves I want to make sure are fit for that Tottenham game, for me, it should be Holding and it should be Socrates. They're the 2 that I'd start with in that game. So I would play Mustafi, although we could go with that 3 at the back against Spurs, but I would play Mustafi in that game. And then on the left-hand side, even though it's not his side, Maitland-Niles I would put in there on the left-hand side. We cannot afford to risk Kolasinac, and Monreal's still not fit enough. So Maitland-Niles. In the midfield, Matteo Guendouzi, who's done really, really well, and El Neni, who's back from injury as well. So for me, those would be my 2 holding players. And I think you do need 2 holding players in front of a very inexperienced back 4. Then I go with 3 in front of them of Mkhitaryan. I think after his performance on Sunday, I wouldn't be starting with him against Tottenham. And I think this is a game where he can get more time under his belt and possibly go out there and get a goal and really, show him do something in this game. Smith Rowe, who's been excellent since he's been coming in, he's definitely got to come back in again. And I play Ramsey. Now, whether I go Mkhitaryan left-hand side, probably Ramsey on the right-hand side. It's not ideal to play Ramsey on the right-hand side, but needs must. It's a bit of a makeshift team. And for me, I'd have Ramsey there. And then up front, Eddie Nketiah. This is his chance. Of course, we've got no Welbeck in the team for this game. Put Eddie in from the start. Let him play a full 90 minutes. And put him in from the start. I don't want to see Aubameyang out there. We know Lacazette won't be there because, of course, he was out of the game last week with a groin injury. And as I said, it's not a must-win game. We want to keep the momentum going. We want to keep this unbeaten record going. But most important thing is that we've got fit and pumped up team ready for the big clash against Tottenham Hotspur. There was a little thinking inside of me that, do you play Ozil in a game like this? He didn't play last weekend. There's always been the rumours that, he don't like it in these type of games. And, do you put him in a game like this and say, yeah, go out and play? Tough place, tough game. For me, no, you've got to risk Ozil. For me, Ozil needs to start as well against Tottenham Hotspur, so I wouldn't risk Ozil. So that's my starting 11. Would love to hear from you guys what your starting 11 should be. But fingers crossed the game will be on. It's going to be a 5:55 kickoff, one of the early kickoffs. Fingers crossed the game will be on. And also we'll be travelling out to the Ukraine. But for me, it's a game that do not risk anything. Send the youngsters out there. Get the job done, get a win or draw, come back still undefeated, and then it's all on the big one against Tottenham Hotspur. So we will be there at the game unless it's cancelled or unless, they have a martial law outside the ground which says no interviews. We will be there, and even then we'll still get it in. You know us already, right? But it's the game, Vorskla versus Arsenal, and it will be played in the war zone of the Ukraine.